Disassembly. First of all, I'm one of those guys that when I come home with a brand new gun, I actually do read my owner's manual. I sit down, I want to look at my gun, I want to read my owner's manual, and I do. I read it. Okay? So, when we came home after the range failure, and it came time to disassemble this gun, which is a lot like a Glock 19. It's very simple. Make sure it's clear, and this is what it says in the Taurus instructions. Make sure it's clear. Bring the slide forward. Empty the magazine out of there. And then what you want to do is take the slide back about 1/8 of an inch with this hand. And then you want to go push down on this, let the slide go forward, and the slide should be coming off. And I kept going, what the heck am I doing wrong? It's not coming off. Well, here's what I learned. I'm clearing the unit. I didn't dry fire it. You need to dry fire it. And then go like this, and oops, and then, alright, dry fire, then take it forward, like so. But I wasn't dry firing it. I was missing that. It did not say to dry fire it in the Taurus instructions. It simply said, make sure you've got a clear weapon, which is racking the slide, cocking it, and if I did not depress the trigger, I was not going to get this thing apart again. So when I had that failure to bring it home, it was a heck of a thing trying to get this thing apart. I felt like a moron. I got on YouTube, started watching YouTube videos on how to disassemble this thing, and realized, hey, he just pulled the trigger. That's what I wasn't doing. I wasn't pulling the trigger. So it comes apart just like so. Here's your captured guide rod spring, and this is not the stock guide rod and spring from Taurus. This is the replacement guide rod and spring from Lakeland LLC. I'll put a link down in the description. These guys sent me a replacement metal guide rod and 2 springs, actually. They came out really quick. These guys were awesome. Lakeland LLC, I'll put the description down there. But this is the old guide rod that came with my Taurus. And this is what it looks like when it's bound up on itself and not working. So I took this out of my gun, bound up, just put it in the plastic baggie, put it aside, and I installed the new guide rod and spring, according to Lakeland LLC's instructions. We'll put this back in the right way. Upside down. There we go. And she's back together. But nowhere in the Taurus disassembly instructions does it say after you clear your weapon to pull the trigger. And if you don't pull the trigger on this thing to decock it before you try and hit the takedown lever and put the slide off, it's not coming apart. And they fail to mention that in their owner's manual. And if it wasn't for the other YouTubers, I wouldn't be able to get that silly thing apart. I'd be taking a $300 gun to a gunsmith saying, hey, can you please take my gun apart? Did not want to do that. So thank you to YouTube. That kind of is one of the stories that inspired me to start this YouTube channel. Share my experience. I'm not a moron when it comes to guns. I have years of experience, but here I was, couldn't get this thing apart, had the instructions, didn't help. What helped was YouTube. So I'll tell you a little bit more about my experiences with this, and I have not been back to the range with this since I put in the new guide rod and spring. So there will be a follow-up to this and a range update, and we'll see how that thing performs, and maybe my wife will finally get a chance to shoot this gun.